Hey, hello to everybody. My name is Jordi Binefa, and I am about to show you what is PLC do and how it can be controlled using Snap. Here, in this picture, we see just a category called IoT Vertebrae PLC IDO that depends of this another category, and this category depends on MQTT library on Snap. Uh, PLC IDO can be managed using a Snap. There is no need of Raspberry Pi, or using Python, where Raspberry Pi is required. In this presentation of today, we don't need Raspberry Pi. MQTT communication is going to be using microcontrollers Wi-Fi. PLC IDO has some embedded components. Here we can see the view meter reading analog outputs, normally open red button, writing a digital input, and a potentiometer setting a regulated voltage between 0 and 10 volts. Industrial digital voltages can be 12 or 24 volts. For convenience, we're using here 12 volts. Industrial analog voltages are between 0 and 10 volts. Okay, but what is a PLC? According to Wikipedia, a programmable logic controller, PLC, is an industrial computer that has been ruggedized, requiring high reliability and ease of programming. At bottom left, there are a couple of pictures of PLC classrooms, typical at electrical vocational training schools. And at bottom right, there is a system using an Arduino-based PLC from Industrial Shields that I am using in one of my last projects. And what is PLC IDO? PLC IDO is a use case of IoT Vertebrae, trying to simplify the learning of PLC-based systems design. IoT Vertebrae, those green boards in the right picture, is a scalable system able to connect lots of digital and analog inputs and outputs at real industrial levels. That means 12 volts or 24 volts DC in digital inputs and outputs, minus 10 to plus 10 volts for analog inputs, and 0 to 10 for analog outputs. Raspberry Pi, that is shown here, is optional. Raspberry Pi is attached to IoT Vertebrae through its GPIO, like a big hat. It is convenient when using Python to program PLC IDO. In today's demo, there is not Raspberry Pi because we are using HEAD's microcontroller's Wi-Fi connection. Snap uses its MQTT library to connect with it. MQTT is the most common protocol used in IoT communications. There are two types of communications between the head and the boards, I2C and CAN bus. I2C is a well-known protocol used by makers using Arduino or other microcontrollers. And CAN bus, also known as Car Area Network, is the protocol used inside any modern car. PLC Edu saves students to deal with cables, and it is ready to use and connect to real industrial world. Connections can be made using crimped cables on these terminal blocks. Glossary of terms. Terminal blocks on top right are the digital outputs from DO0 to DO3. At the left of these digital outputs are the digital inputs, from DI0 to DI3. Terminal blocks on top left are the digital power supply, 12 volts in this case, but it could be 24, changing external power supply. And minus D is digital ground, and plus D is 12 volts. At the left part of the picture, there are embedded components. View meter, normally open button, and potentiometer. View for analog VT for button digital level, and POT is for potentiometer regulated voltage between 0 and 10, are connected directly to this terminal block. And terminal blocks at the bottom right, are analog inputs, in this case from 1 to 4, and these are analog outputs from 1 to 4. Okay, digital outputs. In the picture, there is connected to digital output 2, this one, and digital ground. In the real demonstration, we are about to use a big red LED. Here we see the block, the out, and this one is bit 2, bit 0, bit 1, bit 2. That means that this is the signal for this bit. The out is sending 4 bits of 4 values at the same time. Remember, 1 is 12 volts and 0 are 0 volts. And with the block the out bit, we are sending a value, 0 or 1, to only 1 bit. At the right, there are two Python scripts, one using the out and the other using the out bit. Digital inputs. In this picture, there is an external normally open button connected to digital input 1. When it is pressed, here there are 12 volts. When it is released, there are 0 volts. The in-bit blocks is a reporter block that reads the 4 inputs at the same time. The in-bit reporter block reads only one of the 4 inputs. At the right, there are two Python scripts, one using the in and the other using the in-bit. Again, digital inputs. But the difference is that we have connected this cable from this BT connector to DI1, and it's mainly the same, but the difference is that here we are using the internal red button instead of the external one. Analog input. In this picture, we see just the output of the potentiometer, that is a voltage between 0 and 10 volts connected directly to the analog input 4. Here we see just the reporter block in, then we select a channel between 1 and 4, and we read just the volts at that channel. Here there is just a Python implementation. And the analog outputs, we are just sending the output of this voltage to this terminal block that is connected directly to the VU meter. Here in the block, we are sending just the channel. We are in channel 4 and a value between 0 to 10. In this case, it is the 7. And here there are a couple of Python scripts just using a out. Okay, how it works. This slide shows how the blocks have been made. For instance, setup MAC is setting the PLC's EDU MAC number and connects to MQTT broker. This is just a block from the MQTT Snap library. Here, for instance, the in reporter block is just calling another block from IoT vertebrae. And inside this block, we see the use of the MQTT Snap library. The other PLC EDU blocks are based on IoT vertebrae blocks too. Now we're about to do a practical demonstration. You can download this presentation and you have a direct link from here. And now I am just connecting to the PLC EDU and I am trying to send, for instance, 1 to out 2. And here we see that the red LED is lit on. If we are sending 0, then now it's off. This is just bit by bit. If we want to send 4 bits at the same time, now I'm sending 4 bits, 4 ones, and now I'm sending 4 zeros. Here we see just the VU meter. Now the needle is marking 5 volts. Now I am about to send 7 volts. And you see that the needle is marking 7 volts. And if we send 3 volts, now the needle is marking 3 volts. It is between 0 and 10 volts. And about the inputs, we can read just the input, digital inputs. And now we see 4 zeros. And in this particular case, that is connected to the bit 1, there is here a 0. Now I'm about to press the button. And pressing this button, now I am just clicking on the in bits. We see this one, bit 1, and now again I am pressing this, and I see that the value is 1, and if I am not pressing it, it is 0. Okay, and the analog input, now I am reading 5.35, and now I am moving the potentiometer a little bit, and I see that the value has changed. Now it's time for questions. If you want to do some questions.
Thank you. I have a nerdy little complaint. The thing that you labeled the VU meter looks to me like a linear scale, right? It's a linear 0 to 10 volts.
Yeah.
So it's not a VU meter because those are logarithmic.
Okay.
Just a meter.
Thank you very much.
European standard for what a VU meter is.
Okay, thanks for the nerdy remark. Is there any other nerdy remark or a question? Okay, Alex?
I was wondering, along with having it that they are able to get back readings, were you thinking of adding in something to simplify pushing firmware directly to the system so that people would be able to program it using blocks also?
If I understand, you are talking about to put a snap inside the system?
Not to put snap in, but for example, you could have it that you would build out a long series of strings using blocks. So you could have some code pushing to the unit itself, because it is also, how do the students program the system? Because I understand that the block, like this is what you have here is meant to take readings from your system, but where do they do the coding of the system itself?
Okay, the students now, this system is just in a vocational training school here in Barcelona, just the biggest one, Escola del Treball, and the students start to use this using Snap. And then, because every PLC has a different MAC number, the students can use this from the cloud, and then they are controlling this just to get the basics. Once they are able to use Snap and control and read and write to the PLC IDO, they use Python. There is just a public library. There is in the GitHub. In fact, you can see that in the presentation. And then just importing the Python library on the Raspberry Pi, they are able to read and write digital and analog inputs and outputs. That's the answer to your question?
Yeah. Yes, and then you have a tether. That's what I was wondering about.
So Bernard is just saying that you can also program it in Snap or tethered to your computer.
Yeah. And if you want to have it so that it was untethered, has anyone thought about doing some of the primitive, sorry, microphone.
If you want to get to look at the camera.
Oh, yeah. Have you thought about having it that you would have some of the Python available as blocks that you would push so as to ease students into going over to Python if they don't already have a background in it?
I don't think that exactly, but the names and the parameters of the Python functions are the same than in Snap, are exactly the same. Then the translation could do is really easy to do. For instance, here you can see this is just an analog output. You have this parameter, that is the channel, and this is the voltage. Here in Python, you have here the channel and the voltage, and then the function, Python function, is A out, and it's just the same. The first parameter is the channel, and the second one is the value. Okay, and it's the same with the rest of the blocks. A is just the same. You are passing the channel, or here, for instance, you are getting the 4 bits, or here you are getting the video you want. It's just exactly corresponds the same, the Python function, than the Snap function.
So the session goes. By end of the session, you will hopefully know what Snap4Europe is. You will see how the course we developed work. You can try out the course. You can try some sample units hands-on. So you have to do something. You hopefully share important feedback to improve the course. And of course, you learn how you can precipitate to the course and how everybody else can precipitate. So the Snap4Europe, it's an EU-funded project in the Erasmus Plus program. So more specific, it's the John Monnet Action Teacher Training Program. And the major goal of this program is to strengthen understanding of the European Union, its functions, its values, and the everyday benefits. So that's also the major goal of the program, not only our goal. So our goal is to bring these topics into school. And we thought how we can do that, because the great challenge is, our challenge is how we can bring these EU topics into school without rewriting the curriculum, because it's not possible to just say, okay, let's do a new subject called European Union. It's not possible. So we have to do that without rewriting curricula. And the idea, the central idea of this project is, okay, let's integrate these topics into a beginner-friendly SNAP course. Because meanwhile, everybody in German schools has to learn a block-based programming language at one time, mostly Snap, unfortunately, Scratch, unfortunately, right? But yeah, we did that for obvious reasons with Snap. Okay, some facts for this course. It's a free self-paced course with 8 units. I will show you in a minute. It teaches, of course, the programming basics of Snap, but all this programming is in context to EU institutions, rights, mobility, so EU topics. All the examples are related to the European Union. The course is in English because it should be done by everybody in the European Union. But there are also additional tutorials, workshops that can be held in any language. Yeah, maybe also some school lessons should be organized in the same way. Also, school lessons should be just a workshop character. And the output should be that the kids, or everybody who is doing this course, will gather programming skills, but also EU literacy. And they will finally get also a certification. So who is this course for? First, we start with the educators, so with you, so that you can do the course with your students, with next generation teachers, teacher trainers, trainees, and so on and so forth. And finally, of course, all the students in school should do this course starting from 6th grade, but it's open up to whatever you like. And now we will jump into the course. I will just go very, very shortly through these 8 units to give you an idea how this course is built, and then you can really try it. So thanks to Brian, Jens, and Dan for this beautiful joint computing course, because the first unit is really inspired by this course. You see that little game. It's very similar to that what you have done to introduce Snap. Usually these units have an introduction in video for introduction, then some exercises, and also some quizzes. In the first video, you get familiar with the environment, and you have to build a little game, which has nothing to do with Europe, except for the Alonso. It's a little bit different here. But then for the first exercise, you have to animate Alonso and let him say why he loves the EU. So just to get a positive feeling about the EU, what are advantages of the EU. So you can pay in many countries without changing money and so on and so forth. So you have to animate it and think about, okay, what can he say, what's positive about the EU? And then some quizzes here. We will go to that later. So the next unit is objects, comments, and reporters. They learn in the Snap skills the communication between objects. What are objects? How can they communicate? And the knowledge of the European Union is you learn what are the 6 founding members, what are the landmarks of these founding members. You see these landmarks here, and that they can also say something, so they can communicate to each other. You will learn how to do that. Then you have an exercise where you have to drag and drop all the countries, not only of the European Union, but of whole Europe. So we make no difference here. So the whole Europe is treated here. So you can drag and drop that and look where these countries are located. And then I will show you one quiz here, and maybe just read it. And thanks to Brian for your talk yesterday. This is truly not a quiz for grading the students. It's a real self-check quiz. All the teachers have no access to the results. And actually, even it's not even possible to answer these quizzes right to get the certificate. You just have to do it and try it. So thanks for your things yesterday. Do you have any idea which one is correct?
First not correct. Circle something.
Anyone else? So the quizzes are not only it's not only the reason to recapitulate what you have learned, but you also should learn new things about Europe. So everybody knows what the answers of these reporters are, but you say the first one gives the right answer. Do we have other opinions? So Jens doubt that this is right, the first, right? Yeah, so that's obviously wrong. If you click that, you will get a feedback that says, okay, that's not true because Europe is bigger than just the European Union. So this is wrong, actually. This is also wrong. So this is the right answer. Okay. But you can try out these quizzes in a couple of minutes, if you like. The next unit is about variables and the European monetary, which is one big thing of the European Union. Of course, from the point of Snap, you use the concept of, you learn about the concept of variables, calculations, how to use reporters to do these calculations. And from the European point of view, you learn something about the European Central Bank, the currency that we had before the Union and that we had after that. And we have a very complex exercise. So the kids are in the role of a businessman who has to calculate the purchase costs and the retail price before we had this union. And if you program that with all these exchange rates with the different currencies, it's really a mess. You learn, oh, that's so damn complicated to do that, and so much I have to think about. You can also choose different exchange rates for different times. And you can see that it changed very rapidly. And you do one calculation, a couple of years later, your calculation is totally crap because you can't use it anymore. Just to give an impression of what really great benefit we have because of this monetary union. And then we have a little quiz here. My daughter, Lucy, she's 25. And she looked to me and said, I don't know what's this. I don't know these bills anymore. So the question here is just you have some typical food for different countries in the EU. Maybe you can see what is what, and you have to relate that to the former currency. So I guess most of you will do that, but it's really hard, especially for kids, even for young students. It's nearly impossible. So they have really to, it's really fun to do that. Okay, the unit 4 is about lists and passport-free traveling, also a big achievement of the European Union. Yeah, I don't want to go into details. Lists, everybody of you knows that and how we can introduce it. The exercise is that the students has to build a list where you can store all the countries you have been during the last years without showing a passport. That's the exercise and the quiz here, because it's not only passport-free traveling, it's also another topic is the principle, the main principles of the European Union. We have these some 8 principles: freedom, democracy, and so on and so forth. And then you have to decide what these reporters are doing. Again, you learn, or you should already know what the reporters are doing, but you learn at the same time something about the European principles. The 5th unit is again about lists and also the for loop and the European institutions. There you will get an impression what the most important institutions are and how they are built up, especially the European Parliament, the Commission, and also the European Council. This is treated in this unit. And the unit 6, there's the if-else statements, the condition statements, and how a proposal becomes a bill. What is the voting process for making laws? And that's quite difficult. So we have different majority types, which are explained in the video with these if-else statements. So we have a simple majority, we have a 2/3 majority, and we have a qualified majority. Does everybody know what the qualified majority is? Even the Europeans here. So I didn't know that either before I did that course, for sure. Yeah. So it's rather complicated. You have maybe you see that here. This is used for the qualified majority. We have a list which is given. The students don't have to make this, with all the countries and the population and the current vote. Because to get a qualified majority, you first condition is that the majority of the countries has to say yes. That's easy. But these countries have to represent 60 or 65% of the population.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's important. So that's a qualified majority. And so they can really try it out. They can say, okay, this country, Croatia, said no, Germany said yes, and Ireland says no. So they can switch it. And then they get a decision. And the exercise is to write a program. Oh, so this is explained in the video how it works. So you have to build, to retry it, just do it step by step like it's done in the video. And then you have to extend the program. It's not over yet. So, so here we have the bill. And if you move the bill to the parliament, then you can say, okay, so many yes voters and so many no voters, and a number of no votes. Then you get a decision, which is calculated. Then you move the bill to the council, and there you have to have this qualified majority. You can all doing all this stuff. And if both institutions say yes, the proposal will become a law. So next unit, it's the custom blocks and your favorite places in Europe. In the video, it's explained how to build custom blocks. It's an example everybody of you knows, I guess, doing these squares and polygons and so on and so forth. This is used to create a nice project I will show you in a minute, where you can mark your favorite spots in Europe. And let me show you that, because it's not. So, everybody seeing it? Should I go a little bit on the side? Maybe it's better. So you go to, so for example, here I was born, it's a city, it's a Münster. Then here we had another event, something else. You see that a different color. Just the cities have one block, the other events. This is Heidelberg, so it's SnapCon 25. And I guess besides Germans, most present country is maybe Spain, right? We mark here that's the country of Spain. I like Spain. It's also another sample. So, and yeah, then the kids can extend this project and yeah, mark all their favorite spots and discuss with the neighbors, for example, why they like this spot, what's important for this spot, and so on and so forth. All European stuff. Let's go back. So the last unit is clones and snowfall. Snap skills are concept of clones and using clones, and European knowledge is just have fun. It's the last unit before doing their own project, and here they can really try already doing something themselves. They should do the same project as in the video. I will show you that, and then extend the project just to have fun. You see some European typical landmarks again in this image. Yeah, I think I don't have to show you how it works. Snowflakes, and if you press the space bar, stars will light up and sparkling in the ceiling. Okay, but I think now I talked already too much. So it's on you. Try these things out on our website, Snap4Europe EU. Maybe I can open it. Oh, here is the clones project. It's already open. I just show you, and so the snowflakes are falling and staying on the ground. And if you hit the space bar, the stars will appear. Okay. So, and now your turn. Go to the Snap4Europe website to course materials. And in the course materials, you have all these 8 units, and not all of the material, but most of the material is there. You can just click on these links and try these materials out. So you are absolutely free to use these materials for your lectures, for whatever you are doing. You can just use it all the time. And for now, it would be great if you can really play around a little bit and give some feedback. Below everything, there's a small feedback thing. So it would be great if you can give us some feedback here so that we can improve it. And of course, rating are only allowed 4 or 5 stars. Okay, so
Font needs to be 0.2 larger. If 0.2 rand larger would be great.
yeah, maybe that's right. Okay, so it's your turn. Now we have, I think, 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe grab a coffee and try it out.
Yeah.
Okay, see you in 20 minutes. Or do we have questions so far? So maybe we can do some question first. And Brian, you have a question?
Yeah. As a longtime teacher of social implications of computing, I was looking at your presentation and wondering if there's anything problematic about the EU.
Can you repeat the question for Brian?
What? Oh,
So Brian wanted to know if there's also some problematic stuff about the EU, because you have the impression that's too optimistic. Is that right? And what I should answer about this? For sure, you're right. You're always right. But the point is, we really would like to transport a positive feeling about the EU, because maybe you also get that over the news, and all the European people know that it's reported so much negatively about the EU, so many problems, and of course there are problems, but overall it's more positive than negative. If you just think about the monetary union, if you have programmed that example, you will never forget, okay, we will never go back with individual currencies. That's impossible. Think about the traveling and so on and so forth.
this is actually what started me wondering about this, because according to some economists,
Yeah.
having a single currency and not having a single central bank is asking for trouble.
Yeah, that's right. But I would tell you something I've seen on the TV. It's some American startup guy who tells how it works. If you make an invention and going to market, where do you go to the market? Definitely not in the EU. It's too much bureaucracy, it's too small, and so on. But you will go to the market first in the US. You have a big market, one currency, one system of legal stuff. Then you go to maybe China or UK, Australia, because of the language. And then you go to the European Union and you have a big market. And now think about, okay, you have all these individual countries, different laws, different currency, so you will never go to the EU. So I see your concern, and that's right, but overall the positive effects are much better, and we have to transport this positive feeling.
I'm not suggesting that.
But you're right. So you can.
I'm not suggesting that the overall impression that you give should be negative. I mean, I'm a fan of the EU, but depending on how old the students are, which I guess I don't remember, if they're high school, if they're teenagers, they should be able to have a positive impression of the EU, and at the same time, know what some issues are about it.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And so maybe this is also something I will ask later in the session. What do we also have to do on further topics? And that's right. You should also talk about the problems for sure. But as a starting point, we really try to transport a positive feeling. Okay, so more questions now. So then just try it out, and in 15, 20 minutes, we will meet again and for the next part. Thank you. So let's continue.
The last.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I hope most of the questions that came up during the last minutes will be answered in the second part. If not, just feel free to ask immediately after that. First of all, ways to participate. Obviously, the learners can just take the course and get a certificate. Educators can adopt units, use all the units, or doing the whole course with their students. Educators, together with their institutions, can host such courses. I will tell you something about that in a minute. If somebody really would like to translate it, it's okay, but it's not really planned. And I'm not sure if I would really prefer to translate it, because I think this course is not that difficult, and all the young kids, they speak English much better than I do and than most of the other teachers are doing. So it's not a problem for the kids, I guess. And even if it is a small problem, there's a new learning experience. They can improve their English, and you can do the lesson, of course, in your mother language. That should be in your mother language, especially with small kids. So if they do not understand something in English, you can explain what that really means. So, but if everybody would like to translate it, okay, but it's not in. It's not my planning, and yeah. And everybody who would like to support us, it's more than welcome. Follow us on Instagram and so on, and comment and give feedback to improve the course or help the course. Okay, so what's the way for learners? So it's pretty light here, so maybe we should do that a little bit better. Not really, huh? Anyway, so you can read it. That's the most important thing. Okay, so first of all, as I told you, it's a self-paced, self-learning Moodle course. I will give you the access to the course in a minute. So all learners can just self-register, do the course by their own pace, get the certificate. That's obvious. Furthermore, we offer so-called kickoff events. That means that the kids or students or whoever can just register for a kickoff event that is held in different languages, in English and German for us. But if anybody of you would like to offer a kickoff event, it would be great. You can do it in Spain or whatever country you are coming from. And during this kickoff event, the kids are shown how to register for the course, how to register in the Moodle course. Then we are doing the first unit together. It's just this getting started unit. It's not that long. It could be done in 30 minutes or something like that. And after that, they can continue by their own pace with the Moodle course, or visit more workshops where also the other units are explained, so that they get additional support. So this is these are the online possibilities. So whenever we are planning a new kickoff event, it's distributed by social media and by the newsletter. So please register for the newsletter, or just follow us on social media, so that you can also give your students all the dates. So I will stand here. I think it's more convenient. I don't know where this is. Okay, and the third possibility are in-person courses. If anybody of you would like to do something like this, it could be weekly at your institution, or it could be a complete condensed course blocked in, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And if you are thinking about such a short course, just a couple of days, also somebody of our team can come to your institution and give the course. So that would be also great. So that's me, or maybe Moritz sitting there, or maybe some other tutors of our team will come to your institution and give the course, which is also basically the Moodle course. Also in these in-person courses, everybody has to register on Moodle, but we are doing all the units together. And if you do the course, you can extend the units, doing something else, replace other things, whatever you like. But it's important that the kids are registered because of two reasons. The first reason is, or three reasons. First is that you have a guideline, the kids have a guideline, some support what you can do. The second reason is that all learners will get a certificate, automated certificate at the end, so that they have something in hand. And the third, obviously, that we can report to the project, so that we have the numbers of people and so on. Okay, so that's for the learners, and for the educators, I just told you already. Give kickoff meetings in your language. That would be great if you are willing to do that. Weekly sessions or condensed, then we can provide support by sending a trainer or whatever. So going one step back, so the target group. Originally in the project, we applied for giving this course to future teachers, so teacher students, not necessarily student teachers of the field of informatics, computer science, or no computer science teachers, but all student teachers. Everybody who is interested in doing some blog-based learning is more than welcome. So it don't have to be computer science students. It turned out that it's really hard to get these students if they do not get credit points for that. Especially here, I don't know if you have the same experience with your students. That's really hard to motivate them to do something additional. So we are not able to get these credit points. So we decided also to go directly to the school students. So we offer these courses for 6th to 10th grade. We just announced our first kickoff meetings by end of September. There are 3 or 4 meetings that are scheduled for the last September week, and already got 80 to 100 applications, so registrations. So that's really a lot. So the school students are really interested in doing that. So that's why we offer it directly to the school students. But from the project point of view, we have to, and we would like to offer to teacher students. So that might be the main target group if you are doing courses in your institutions or in your schools. It really depends. Oh, thank you, Brian. Okay. Second last slide here. In a minute, it's again your turn. Please, if possible, register for the Moodle course. It's directly accessible via the website. It's just join the course. You can register with any email address. Go roughly through the course and think about these 2 things. What Snap concepts you are missing. Keep in mind it's a beginner course. Nevertheless, it could also be some more complicated stuff, because it's not only for 6th graders, but up to 12th grade or even students. So it's also possible to do some more complicated stuff. No teacher is forced to do all this stuff, but we can provide it. So keep that in mind. What is missing for you? What do you think we should really treat about in Snap concepts, and also with respect to European topics. Maybe you have some ideas what we should really teach about the EU. Do we have other things that we should do? So keep in mind these 2 points when you go through this course. The whole Moodle course can be done. I don't know. We have to ask Peter. Is Peter here? Yeah. He's beside me. Actually, he's the first one who completed this course. Yeah, it was online, and I wrote it on social media or whatever. And a couple of hours later, he was registered, and a couple of days later, it was really done. So he's the first one who did it. So if you really would like to know how long it takes, just ask him. Yeah.
You consider connect with European Code?
Sorry?
European Code Week, did you consider to connect?
Yeah, that might be a good idea. So let's talk about that. Yeah, I'm interested to do that. I'm not sure. Yeah, first I thought about that as well. And then I thought, okay, it's too short to do all this stuff. But meanwhile, we switched to these kickoff meetings, and that could be a good way to start there in such a code week and yeah. Yeah.
Connecting the countries.
Yeah, we should do that. That's a good idea. So one last thing before it's your turn again.
Sorry.
So this is our Instagram account. What's some additional stuff? We have from time to time these news quizzes. It's the first one, but we are planning to do more of them, that we just follow important news of the European Union and doing a quiz with this news which is not found in the courses. Of course, we cannot modify the course every time, but on social media we are doing these quizzes. So here, which country received approval to join the Eurozone in 2026? It was news a couple of weeks ago. So usually everybody of us should know that immediately without this quiz. But who is knowing that? Or who is not knowing that? Where's the approval? Okay, so the most didn't know that, but we should, obviously. So that's the reason why we are doing these quizzes. So which country received the approval and will be part of the Eurozone in 2026? Got the solution? Sorry?
Macedonia.
No, it's not Macedonia.
Vacation country. Okay, I think the answer is right there.
Yeah, the answer is here for sure. Yeah.
Just run the code here, man. I'm only keeping my mouth closed because I answer all the time.
So if Brian knows it first, without being a European citizen, then the shame was on us. You already know, right?
I knew before.
Okay.
Reading in Guardian.
So we don't leave without an answer. What's the answer? Should I do it?
But my question is, why do you think this is preferable to math?
I don't know.
We have this complexity of index variables.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, anybody could read this code and get an answer.
I agree that not everyone understands what map is, but most people understand the idea of do something
Yeah.
for.
No, but you could use Snap instead, is what Rod said.
Well, A, that's only true once,
True.
and B, I'm
Clear.
not convinced it's true at all for people who haven't already learned C or something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
About loops being somehow more basic functions.
Especially would take a bit longer to on the computer, it means a lot faster for the person.
Do you know the first letter of this? No. Running this code in your mind, what's the first letter?
He hasn't slept enough.
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, it's in B, right? And the second letter,
Yeah.
okay, what's the answer? Right, Bulgaria will join the Eurozone in 2026. So also for ideas, you're welcome to share with us if you have any ideas for questions that we can give into the community. That would be great. Okay, so then I would like to ask you to register for the course over the website. Just register for the Moodle course, go through that and think about it. And then we can discuss it in 15 minutes. What are your ideas, and answer the last questions before the coffee break. Okay, thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for your help, for your feedback I already got, but hopefully I will get some more feedback of you. Then I would like to thank Moritz, who's there. He did a lot of technical stuff there, also with the Moodle course, and got also some feedback what we have to change. Lucy did also a lot of stuff from presenting all these things, and Nicole obviously is also responsible for the project. So thank you to them. And now I'm really excited to hear some feedback from you. I already got some. You had a great idea. Yeah.
Maybe you get some map of Europe and where you see the countries maybe with different colors.
And the main cities and the list of the cities with the coordinates X and Y positions, and then they have to program a round trip with the blue blocks, and later on they can maybe change to the green blocks, and then with the pen down and up you can see the round trips or the cities that you would like to visit, and so that would be a result.
So it's an extension of the traveling stuff we already have, but with the cities and going by plane.
Yeah, but you are involved in blue blocks and also the green blocks, because there's no part in it, as far as I see it, that you can understand what they do.
Great idea, thanks. Some more. No ideas.
Some sounds as well. The sound blocks.
It's not a music, but the sound block is actually inserted and introduced by these institutions. So the facts about the institutions are all also in a sound file, and they are spoken. But the music block, maybe Jens has an idea or whatever, Bernard, what kind of music we could insert there. So maybe they
will. Short, typical song of the country.
Whatever. So I expect ideas from you and Bernard how we can insert music into this project. More feedback or questions.
I've got kind of feedback. I really love how this project combines social implications and social knowledge with computing. And I love it so much that I actually think you could maybe put a subtitle underneath something. What I always loved about when Barbara Erickson was running this outreach program in Georgia, I think the program was called Georgia Computes. And I'd love this to be something called like Europe Figures or something, which reminds me to one thing that I recently noticed, that in Baden-Württemberg, we actually have two centers of Baden-Württemberg, two geographic centers. One is in Tübingen, and the other is in Böblingen, and they have both been determined by mathematicians and geologic people. And that could be another interesting thing to maybe take the shapes, the figures, get it, of some of these countries and figure out the center point of all the vertices, or kind of the center point of the bounding box rectangle. Those are precisely the two center points in Baden-Württemberg, and we could share pictures of that, which would kind of go more into the geography of Europe.
Yeah,
but
great.
I really love everything about this course.
Thanks. What's
Is this the moment for feedback?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was discussing with Jens briefly that sometimes across the units you use different names for computational things, you know. So sometimes you talk about blocks, sometimes you talk about commands, sometimes you talk about functions, sometimes you talk about reporters, sometimes you talk about objects and then sprites. And I think not for reasons of exact what's the best term, which, you know, that's, you know, what's the word? They say this in Ireland, it's a question for the church, really. What you want is simplicity for the learner. And since it's an introductory course, I would stick to the very simple things like blocks and sprites rather than worrying about any other terms that are, if you like, disputational.
Yeah. I think the idea was to give also an impression how it's called in other languages, but it should be a little bit more shape. It should be shaped a little bit. That's right. Thank you. Some more.
Yeah, we got a message in chat, maybe. In my view, programming needs to get to a point where just as common as plain writing is a way to communicate and express oneself. So not needed to be taught as a siloed course, but allowed and expected to be used where it makes sense to communicate your thoughts in the most effective way possible. Eurosnap is certainly a starting point.
Yeah, what's the, just a comment, right? Yeah,
just a comment, but I think.
Thank you very much. So I thought about the question, but that's okay. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, but it was already mentioned. A link to the EU could be, that would be really necessary.
Yeah, that's right. We will do that. So I'm more than happy about ideas how to spread the course, because that's really the hardest thing. So this is really the first or the second version of the course. There's lots of things that could be better for sure. And then the hardest part will be to spread that. So if everybody is interested in doing this course in his institution or doing something online, just please contact me, maybe during the coffee break or during the days or via email. So if there are no questions and feedback at the moment, it would be great if you do some more feedback via the website or email or whatever, or just speak to me in the coffee breaks. So thank you very much again. And now you have your official coffee break, but I'm more than happy to discuss this with you during the break. Thanks.